Alright, in the blue, playing as Sigrid, we've got the SneakyDragon up against Snake, aka I'mSolidSnaek, playing Mercia in the green. So this is a pretty classic matchup. So there's a whole bunch in Wargroove 1. And we're going to see how well this does in Wargroove 2. Obviously Sigrid can afford to be aggressive, go very low health, and pick off a unit. But it falls off a bit end game. They still have the threat of picking up like big tech units, but on the other hand, Mercia can also be very aggressive in the early game, but doesn't have to worry as much about falling off late game. They're more about like building up actually tech units that Sigrid could eat one of, but once you get like 2 or 3 golems with Mercia, like sort of game at that point. We see both players, they're going for, ooh, I like that heal actually. Ooh, nice grab on that village. So Snake electing to go for the village first, which makes sense because you can grab the hideout after. It delays the sword going for the capture, as opposed to Sneaky, who just went straight for the hideout first. But now, you know, they've got Sigrid lined up. She's going to be able to do a whole bunch of work here. And ooh, nice hit on the air trooper. So that's a good gold exchange. And they're going to be able to knock this village down next turn. In theory, I mean, Mercia could just walk over and kill this sword. Oh, no, I'm going to go for this one instead. I'm not entirely sure about that. Ooh. Interesting. I guess they just really want this to be low health. And I guess sacking any unit to kill an extremely low health sword is probably not worth it, so that sword should be okay. But on the flip side, SneakyDragon, they're pushing really hard over on the right hand side. And they're going to be able to capture this village. So Sneaky, man, they've carved a decent chunk into this map. But Snake, going to start coming back to them. And actually, the fact that they have taken all this damage on their units doesn't matter too much because you've got Mercia. And Mercia is going to put in some work. Ooh, actually, Air Trooper electing to heal itself. Just for the moment. And ooh, we see the thief come out. It actually happens on both sides, so Sneaky also going to be able to get this capture. And yeah. This is the problem with going for this extension, is that your opponent just builds a thief, they can immediately capture on there. And yeah, we're just seeing Sneaky continue to press forwards on the right hand side. Sigrid Groove really threatening at this point in the game as well. Not just with the big tech units, but also like, you know, with the small units like the mage. You yoink that with your commander and then all of a sudden your opponent doesn't have anti-air anymore. Okay, we're going to see some nice aggression coming out here actually. Picking up a couple unit kills. And we see a whole bunch of cheap units. Spears are like really strong against Sigrid because they're not a particularly expensive target for her to like try and kill with Groove. But they do quite well against commanders, and yeah, like it's just not a particularly fun fight for Sigrid to try and take in that circumstance. So Spear comes out, Commander comes out. Those are kind of the big things or the game that really Sigrid doesn't want to have to deal with. Alright, Healing Aura comes up. It's got a big radius, so a lot of this stuff's going to be back to full health. Right, Knight comes in. More captures. And Snake doing well with this counter push. Sneaky, they're going to return that money. Also going to see that on the bottom left. The sword's actually going up with the knight to just try and retake this. So this is going to be a lot of capturing on this village, I think. But if Sneaky can put enough stuff around it to dissuade the thief, then, you know, it might not get captured back constantly. Yeah, now we see, again, it's going to not exactly stall, but it is going to slow down a little bit. Both players just going to keep pushing up. Snake doing a bit of a front switch here. One of Sigrid's biggest weaknesses is that her groove requires to be in melee range, so one of the counters to that is you just run up and oh! Actually, yeah, Snake's just like, I'm gonna leave this this harpy in range, which might be a bait. Sigrid's looking a little bit vulnerable here. Open on 3 sides. I don't think there's a night crit. Well, there was kind of up here, but harpy blocks that, so. Ooh, now we see the rifle come out. And, you know, this is one of the things about having hideouts in the corner on this map is slowly rifles will come out and elect to make this a kind of strong push front. The tower, one tower, one hideout actually, I think, competes very well against double barracks. So it ends up this kind of becomes a strong front over time, just because you can have indirects and you can have air units as well, which do much better against barracks units now, with things like the air trooper to deal with knights. Okay, Sneaky's kind of backing up. Recognizes that, you know, my opponent can just like keep pushing in. We got rifle wagon, so that can reposition pretty heavily to the point where, yeah, it's actually really difficult to defend the stronghold now. And yeah, Snake is going to be able to set up a very good aggressive position here. What does Sneaky have to do in return to this? Well, they're gonna knock down that village. And we're gonna see some repositioning here. Putting a dog up in front makes sense. That was a balloon actually too. And they're setting up. I think they're prepared to sack this balloon if it comes down to it. But this is the anti-rifle wall. Alright, Mage is gonna come in and take the balloon out. We're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff going down here. These are just the cheap frontline units. Mercia is okay with this though. I don't know how I feel about this. That's a very vulnerable looking Mercia. Ooh, Mage goes down though. Means Dragon can kind of... Dragon could go in, but there's a ballista. Huh. Right, Witch Hex finishes off the knight. Yeah, I don't know about this. This is a pretty bold push, but we'll see if it actually plays out. Because you can see a big chain of spear crits coming in here. This is like a night crit on this mage as well, I think. We'll see what Sneaky does first in the chain. Second coming in. Ballista comes in. Really just deals so much damage to that dragon. And we're just going to see more and more stuff go down. Witch Hex comes in, Dragon goes down. More spear crits in this chain. Just more and more big damage. Sigrid comes in, deals a lot.
Goodbye.
These swords are going to go down. I think Sigrid's fairly safe in this position. Dragon comes in, deals even more damage. And it's just a constant chain of these units coming in. And that was a really nice counter attack there from Sneaky. I don't think there's enough here to do any kind of like finishing blow in the stronghold. Can Snake find a lethal? I mean, that's kind of the question. Alright, this is just tier 1, so it is nice, but it's not going to win the game or anything right here. Ooh, good pickup on the dragon. Both dragons going down though, so kind of returning to a more neutral state. We're just seeing a bunch of units go down on both sides. Big brawl came out. Hard to say who came up on top. I think Sneaky has a bit of an edge here, but Snake could definitely do well. But the rifle's out of ammo. And this is a problem because now is the time Sneaky can be aggressive. And yeah, we're going to see that. They're going to keep going in. They're going to keep going forward with Sigrid. Attacking spears in a forest that can counter-attack crit? Okay. Well, that's not an interaction you see very often, but ooh. Nice pickup. Oh, the thief goes down. And I guess, generally speaking, Sigrid's pretty safe. Only really open on 2 tiles. We're going to see a whole bunch of stuff here kind of form up. And yeah, just a wall of dogs for the moment. Nothing really that can actually kill them, so... we're on the right hand side. I guess Snake can, you know, keep pushing over here. They're dedicating a lot to this fight. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it, but... yeah, Rifle's just gonna kind of move over. And Snake has to back up. They took a lot of damage that fight. But again, like, both players feeling somewhat equal, although the Rifle didn't get to reloads. Is a real problem for that. Is absolutely what it wants to do. Sigrid's gonna keep pressing forwards. And I guess Sneaky believes that this is safe. I mean, the more Sneaky presses forwards, the less comfortable I feel about Sigrid's position. But hey, I mean, Sneaky's the one playing, not me, so... I mean, as long as... oh, and Snake actually throws the towel. Interesting. And Sneaky takes it. Huh. I feel like that could have played out a bit more. Oh, apparently I need to read a spoiler for this to understand the context. Okay, so Snake is, feels like they bungled the attack. They don't deserve to win after that. So, fair enough. Alright, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I feel like it was still relatively even. At least close enough that either of them could come back. But you know, you got a Sigrid with tier 2, which is pretty spooky. So, and they're kind of barreling down on the strongholds. But overall, like, I feel, you know, it was a pretty fun game. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Nice unit variety. That golem on the right hand side is a bit of a struggle though, because it can hit stuff and it can knock down the villages, but it takes like 100 golds worth of damage every time. So, you know, that's very unfortunate. Whereas, you know, like a knight would just one-shot stuff back to back. And yeah, having a golem against Sigrid is like not really ideal either, because that's your typical walling unit. But yeah, Sneaky was able to play those last couple turns really well. Able to just be very aggressive with Sigrids. It's like being aggressive with your commander is really dangerous. So yeah, well played to Sneaky for making it work.